It was very, very hard. Long distance is very hard because all the time you think something is going to happen and it's going to be over. Hello YouTubers, and welcome to a new video of Arepas for dinner. So, in today's video, I bring you the second part about how I met my husband. But this second part is not how I met him because you already know how I met him. I'm gonna put it here or at the end of this video if you haven't watched it, but you don't have to watch that one to understand this one, but it helps. So, we were in the part that he came to Venezuela and I pretty much left it there. That was it. That's how I met him. That's it. But of course, he didn't come to Venezuela and we got married the next day. It didn't work like that, of course. So what happened? After he left Venezuela, he went back to Spain. He did a second Erasmus. I don't even know how we maintain a long distance relationship with him on Erasmus. Honestly, who does that? But well, we were doing it. When he was in Erasmus, we were still in touch. We were talking pretty much every day. But as time went by, we started talking less and less and less. You know, my life in Venezuela started transitioning to this becomes my real life again. And my life in Spain starts to be more of a memory of a past thing. It's over. That's it. Next chapter in my life. As well, Jan was in that lot. So it was little by little, we started texting less. I started to care more about the people around me and not about our long distance relationship that now it actually seemed like a dream and like nonsense. It's sad to admit, but I have to admit it that we broke up. Oh no! I pretty much texted him that I didn't want to keep this long distance relationship. I was gonna go to US to do my master's degree in Florida, in Orlando, in a university called Full Sail University. So I was like, I don't want to go to a new country where you're not going to be having a boyfriend, but you're not really my boyfriend because when am I ever going to see you again? What are we doing? So that was it. It was over. And I think it was over around Christmas time, which is very sad. By February, I went to US. My dad took me there. I rented a house. He left me there. He went back to Venezuela and I started studying. And everything was going great until the homesick kicked in. You know, that's gonna happen. When you go to a place, you might stay there for 1, 2, 3 months and be completely happy, but after a while, you're gonna start getting homesick, and that's what started to happen to me. And I didn't know with whom to talk, and for some reason, one night, I had this weird dream that I was marrying somebody, but I couldn't see their face. I just knew they were not Jan, but in my dream I couldn't remember Jan's face. And I remember I traveled to Czech Republic in my dream and I couldn't find him anywhere, and I just had to accept that I lost him forever. I remember I woke up pretty much the next day and I texted him. I was like, I need to speak with this guy, this dream has to mean something. I texted him and he started faking that he was not that interested. At the beginning, he was replying late, kind of not caring. That not caring lasted literally, I think 3 or 4 days. And that was it. He was back on track. We were talking every day, but we were still not together because it was long distance. It made no sense. I liked him and I liked him very, very much. But what were we doing? Honestly, what were we doing? Doesn't matter. Fast forward to summer. So in summer, Jan decided that he wanted to do a thing that he had done before in the past called a work and travel. A work and travel is pretty much a special visa that you get in US to work in seasonal jobs. For example, in restaurants that require more waiters during summer or in hotels or things like that. He had done it before. He did it in Montauk, pretty much the Hamptons in New York, and he wanted to do it again. I was, thrilled that he wanted to do it. It was the perfect reason to see us again, to see each other again and see if it really was going to work. So he decided to go to Galveston in Texas. If you've ever been to Galveston, Texas, you know it's not Montauk. Really not Montauk. I mean, it was the same style thing. He was with a bunch of other Czech people. He wasn't in these dorms and he made friends and everything, but it was definitely not Montauk. And he was not making the money that he was making in the Hamptons the years before. But despite whatever, it doesn't matter. He was living in these residential for kids or something. It was just crazy. And I went there to visit him. I don't know, I went like for 3 nights or 4 nights. I don't even remember how long I went, but it was not very long. I didn't even know where I was gonna stay because he was living with a bunch of people, and at the end I stayed with him, but it was quite weird. But well, I went there, I stayed with him, and I realized that, yeah, like we were completely meant to be. I had so much fun. We did so many things. It was just great. And he told me that once his work and travel was over, he was gonna come to Orlando with his brother and a friend, and we were gonna go to Key West, and we were just gonna spend like the entire summer together. So after his work and travel was over, he came and he pretty much stayed, I believe it was around 3 weeks with me. His brother as well was staying with me. And we did that. We went to Key West. It was, I believe, one of the best trips of my life. Then we stayed in Orlando. We went to the parks. We went swimming in these like water springs. And I remember like some kid died like 3 days later because a alligator ate her in those springs we were swimming, which is crazy, but yeah. So we were living this kind of like, besides that part is very sad, yeah, but we were living this kind of like honeymoonish thing. And my family kept telling me, yeah, that's the problem. You are living a fantasy. You are living a honeymoon, Andrea. That's not how real life works. You don't know this guy in his like daily basis. You don't know his family. You don't know if you guys work, because every time you see each other is this like beautiful thing where you're just like enjoying, partying, going to the beach, going to restaurants, but that's not real life. It was what we had. That was the only thing we could do until then. So the thing is that he goes to Czech Republic, back home. You know, that was said he had to finish some exams that he had pending from university. He was finishing his master's degree. I remember the day he was leaving. It was one of the saddest days of my life. I really thought it was going to happen again. Like we were going to break up after time because it was impossible to carry on. I'm going to cry. It was very hard. Like, it was very, very hard. Long distance is very hard because all the time you think something is going to happen and it's going to be over. And that's what I was feeling in that second. So I remember I drove him to the airport, and once he was gone, like out of my sight, I started like crying. I thought I couldn't even drive back home of how sad I was. And because of that, this happened. I started planning to go see him. Like I told him, I cannot just not plan the next time we're gonna see each other because I'm just gonna go crazy. Like I really, really like you and I don't want to lose you again. So we started planning again, and the best idea and the times that worked best for me were November. So my idea was to go at the end of November, beginning of December, to the Czech Republic to finally meet his family, see him in the real life, and kind of have like a hint of it. But the university that I was studying, Full Sail, it doesn't really grant you much vacations, and you, instead of having like 5 or 6 subjects per semester, you have like 1 subject per month for a year. So it's pretty intense, and once you're in a subject, you cannot just like take some days off because, I mean, you just have 1 month of that subject and that's it. So I booked a ticket to the Czech Republic for, hear me out, 5 days. 5 days. I was going to travel from Orlando, Florida to the Czech Republic. That just going back and forth is literally like 2.5 days. So I was going to be in Czech Republic for 2.5 days. I was crazy. I mean, back then I was working and I was kind of like making enough money that I could pay for that ticket. But that was insane nevertheless. But well, the thing is, I traveled. We went first to Vienna. We had completely like this like marvelous trip of going to all the restaurants and the museums and everything. And then we came to Prague. I met his family. I was staying with them in their house. Super crazy. His parents didn't speak any English. Jan was working so hard back then because he was working with this company that like needed him all the time to be working. So I came here to see him for like 5 days, and he was working every day like 10 hours a day. Chaos. So I decided, because he was working so much and I was really like enjoying the stay, to just like lengthen the stay. So I decided to stay longer. I stayed 10 days, and I think I did it smart, because I think I did it in a way that I wouldn't put myself in a position of, I come here to your house for like a long time and maybe I hate it, maybe I hate your family, no, but maybe I hate you, maybe I don't know, maybe this is not going to be anymore the honeymoon stage and I'm not going to like it. So I booked for a few days and then I just like extended my stay. And also I have to say that the airline lost my suitcase. So I didn't have a suitcase for like 5 days out of the 10 days. So it was pretty insane. I had to go buy clothes here in the Czech Republic. And if you don't know, clothes here is super expensive, but whatever. Yeah, that trip was fun. I started to see a bit of Christmas here in the Czech Republic because I left like the 3rd of December or something, and it was great. And then we were pretty much like together. This time it was like super official. I mean, before too, but it was like, I mean, we sat together and we said, we have to plan something. Like, we have to make something because this long distance doesn't work forever, okay? That's a very important tip for everybody out there. If you do long distance for too long, you're not going to work in person, and that's a very important thing, or you're going to break up. So, or you break up or you prefer the person online than the person in person. So for us, it was very important to just like start defining dates. What I did was I went back to Full Sail. I was studying and he said that he needed as well to graduate from the university and he was going to try to apply for a certain visa so he could come to US. So he came for my graduation, which was, I believe, in March or in April, something like that. And he just stayed with me for a few days. He helped me move because I was living in Orlando, Florida. My master's was over, so I decided to move to Miami because we have a family house there, so I could stay there. And he helped me move. And then we went to Valencia, Spain together. It was pretty funny to go back to Valencia now as an official couple because, I mean, if you saw the story, the beginning of how I met him, everything was so strange and crazy and intense. And this time we were going like an official couple, just introducing ourselves as a couple to our friends and everything. It was pretty neat. And as well, this time we were both working, so we had a bit of more money. So it was not the same Valencia that we knew before. We were eating out all the time. We were doing a lot of things that we were not able to do when we were living in Valencia at the beginning. That was fun. And once that Valencia part was over, he had to go back to Czech Republic and I had to go back to US. I had back then a type of visa called OPT. That is pretty much a visa that you get after you graduate college in the US that allows you to work for a year or a year and a half, depending on your specialization. So I went back. It was quite sad, but we still had the plan that he was going to come. And by now I believe that, I mean, we have seen each other so many times already, even though we were long distance, that I was like, yeah, this has to work, like for sure. So yeah, before the summer or around summer, I'm not even sure when that happened exactly. Maybe it was May. I don't remember the exact date. He graduated from Czech Republic and he started applying for the visa. So he started the application and everything, and they pretty much told him that he had to find a company that wanted to sponsor him. So I told him, just come here. You can come with your normal tourist visa and you can just like stay here and try to find a job. So he came, and at the beginning, you know, we were used to kind of not real lifing, but just like having fun and enjoy. So he came and we were going out a lot and going to the beach and going to restaurants and, you know, credit card. And then when I say we, I mean him, because he had a credit card from when he was studying. He got into like a very big debt, like big. And he started to panic about it, kind of saying, if I don't find a job now in US, I'm not going to be able to pay this credit card. Like the debt was bad. It was like $8,000. I don't know how much it was, but it was around that. It was insane because we were doing so many things and we were kind of like, oh, let's just enjoy because we were missing each other so much at the beginning that we were trying to do everything. And then we realized that wasn't the smart thing to do. So yeah, he had many interviews, and I remember one day I had to go do this photo shoot in the north of Florida in a place called West Palm Beach. No, I think actually it was in Juneau. So I went to Juneau, and that's in the north of Florida, like before Orlando, but after Miami. And I was doing a photo shoot of food, and I told him, why don't you come with me? You can keep my car and go around and try to find a company that needs an engineer and that they want to sponsor you. So he did, and so he found. So apparently, like, he was not finding because we were trying so hard to find it in Miami, and maybe Miami was already full of people in his same situation trying to find a job. So we went to West Palm Beach. This company loved him. They re-interviewed him for a couple of times, and they got him, and that was it. It was so exciting. And Jan was applying for the visa, and you won't guess what. I mean, we've been traveling so much lately because of the long distance, and we are finally in one place, kind of broke, maxing the credit cards, and suddenly they tell him that the interview for the visa has to be made outside of the US. What? I mean, you want me to come here and find a job, and then you want me to be outside of the US to apply for the visa, but not to pick it up, just to have the interview. And they were like, yeah, I mean, you can be just like outside of the US for 2 hours and that's fine. We just cannot do you the interview while you're in US. So he took a plane and he went to the Bahamas. That, by the way, he completely sunburned. I'm going to put a photo of him after the Bahamas interview here. And he got his visa approved. So it was great. Best news ever, you know. He went to the Czech Republic. He took his new visa, he came here, and he moved to West Palm Beach. So when he was living in West Palm Beach, I was living in Miami. We were still long distance, but it kind of worked for us because I'm not going to say in my culture because that's not true, but in general, in the old times, in Venezuelan culture, in the past, not anymore, don't judge me or anything, but it's not that normal, or it was not that normal to live with your boyfriend. So it actually worked for us that he was not living in Miami, because him living in Miami and us not living in the same house would have been quite hard for him, because especially because of the cultural, that was like too much of a cultural difference, I guess. So the fact that he was living in West Palm Beach and I was living in Miami made it easier to not live together. So yeah, we didn't live together until we got married, and that's the truth. So I mean, not that I'm anything against people that live together. I completely get it. I just said that we didn't do it. So the thing is that we were living like that. I was going to West Palm Beach like once in a while. He was coming like every weekend to Miami because, I mean, it's more fun. And he was paying his debt in his credit card, and he got it under control as well. He bought a car. You know, we were having the American dream. Everything was great. And then he had a secret call with my parents, and he asked permission to marry me. And I cannot say that I didn't know it was gonna happen, because I've been literally, I mean, I'm a person who's very open about what she wants, what she feels, and everything. So we openly talked about we have to get married. Like, it's something I want to do, and it's something for us makes a lot of sense, because otherwise, you know, we're gonna be running after each other for so long. So I started with the jokes of like, oh, my finger's itchy, and like, oh, I was so pushy and pain in the ass. But I wasn't, because he bought my engagement ring when he went to apply for that visa when he was in Czech Republic. So he knew he was going to marry me since then. I just didn't know he was like so sure that he actually bought the ring, but he did. So he called my parents, he asked for permission, and then we went to this cruise ship to the Bahamas that I remember so bad. My parents telling me, my mom, go make your nails, Andrea. How can you go to a cruise ship with your nails like that? And I was like, I don't want to. We're just going to be in the beach. It's just going to be all fun and nothing else. And my mom was just like insisting, like, go make your nails. Now it makes sense. So yeah, he proposed the first night. We went to a restaurant. Somebody recorded, so we do have the recording of that, because of course he knows me so bad that he knew I wanted to have that on tape. So somebody was sitting in our table as well. They recorded. The entire restaurant was clapping. It was beautiful. We drank so much. We drank with everybody. We gave champagne to everybody. Everybody bought us things to drink. We made friends with everybody, to the point of the next day we went to Bimini because the cruise ship arrived, and everybody was saying hi to us. Yeah, like trying to have inside jokes with us. And we were like, I don't remember half the night. You know, it was like one of the craziest nights ever, in the best way. It was one of the happiest nights of my life, for sure. So that was it. When we went back to Florida, we were already engaged. Moment to start like planning wedding and everything. And I remember, I don't know exactly when my visa was going to expire, but we were going to get married before that for sure. because I know a lot of people take more than a year to plan a wedding, and I honestly have no idea in what they spend the time. Like, I couldn't be planning a wedding for a year, like 100% for sure. No. So I planned my wedding in about 8 months, I believe, or maybe a little bit less, because that was October and we got married in April. So yeah. And we went to see venues. My uncle came to visit us and he helped us so much with everything, picking the venue. He was there for the picking of my dress, so it was great. And then the wedding day came, and we still are not living together, okay? He's living in West Palm Beach, I'm living in Miami. We're still long distance in a way. And the day of the wedding came, and so many friends and family from Venezuela came, and so many friends from Czech Republic came, which was amazing. I mean, we have videos to show the wedding. It was a beautiful wedding. You know, it was spectacular. And Venezuelan weddings are usually like 400 people, and ours was, I believe, exactly like 100 people. My camera keeps turning off because I didn't charge the battery. I'm so sorry. So yeah, we had a beautiful wedding in Miami, and everybody that we loved and that we wanted to be there, they were there. So it was, I think, magic and amazing. And you won't believe this, but actually my parents and Jan's parents met like a week before the wedding. I mean, they didn't even speak the same language. They don't even speak the same language. Jan's parents don't speak English. My parents don't speak Czech. They speak English, but they don't speak Czech, of course. So they met a little bit before. We had this like dinner together in the sushi place. It was funny. Everybody was trying to translate everyone. It was just hilarious. I remember Jan's dad was in one end of the table, just like putting all these faces. I mean, he was an actor, and he's like this like showman type of person. And like after that, Jan started telling me, like, you see my dad's faces? He's not understanding anything that is going on, but he had these faces like, It was so funny. So yeah, we got married, and after that, I moved to West Palm Beach, and that was it. We were finally together, and the rest, you know it. The visas were over. We came here to the Czech Republic, and we're still in this like trip to getting to know each other, even after so many years of knowing each other, because that's the magic of having an international relationship. It's like you are always gonna discover new things about the other person. You're always gonna be sharing everything you share, everything that in your culture is normal and that you usually have in common with the person you date. You won't have it, and that can be something scary, or that can be something wonderful, and we decided to see the wonderful part on it. So that was it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, I'm gonna leave here the previous one. If you didn't watch it, you can go now and watch that part as well. And if you want me to do another video like this, just let me know down in the comments, or follow me here on social media on Instagram, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this one. I usually do vlogs about our life in the Czech Republic and what's for dinner, and usually our vlogs and videos are mostly food related because I am a foodie. So that's it. Have a great day. Bye.